Let me tell you, growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. When you're comfortable, you're not growing. You're simply coasting. Growth comes when you step into the unknown, when you challenge yourself to do things that scare you. So, if you find yourself feeling uncomfortable more often, it's a clear sign that you're growing faster than you think. Think about it. When's the last time you were really pushed outside your comfort zone? It could have been in your career when you were given a task you weren't sure you could handle, or in your personal life when you had to confront something you'd been avoiding. When you step up to that challenge, it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good in the moment, but that discomfort is an indication that something inside you is stretching, expanding, and developing. The best part, that discomfort is temporary. The more you face it, the more it fades. What remains is your newfound strength and confidence. You're on the path of growth, the first thing you'll notice is how uncomfortable you feel. Now, let me tell you, this is not a bad thing. In fact, it's one of the clearest signs you're growing faster than you think. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone, and if you're too comfortable, it's probably a sign that you're not challenging yourself enough. Think about it. When was the last time you did something that really pushed you to your limits? I'm talking about the kind of challenge that makes you feel nervous, unsure, and maybe even a little scared. If you can't remember the last time you felt that way, it's time to take a good look at your life. Growth and discomfort go hand in hand. They're like two sides of the same coin. Let's break this down a little more. Discomfort comes in many forms. It might be a new responsibility at work that you don't feel fully prepared for, or it could be stepping into a leadership role when you've never had to lead before. Maybe it's a situation where you're facing something you don't have all the answers to. It could be the feeling of speaking up in a room full of people when you normally wouldn't have the courage to do so. Discomfort might even show up in your personal life, such as when you're having a difficult conversation with someone, or when you have to change old habits that you've been holding on to for years. These situations are all uncomfortable, but they're also opportunities for you to grow. You see, comfort is the enemy of growth. If you're only ever doing things that are easy and familiar, you're not expanding, you're just maintaining. That's why so many people feel stuck in the same place year after year. They stick to routines, avoid risks, and do just enough to get by. But growth demands more than just getting by. Growth requires action that pushes you beyond where you were yesterday. And that action almost always comes with discomfort. You'll face moments where you question yourself, moments where you feel overwhelmed, moments where you wonder if you're capable of succeeding. But it's important to remember that those feelings are normal, and they don't mean you're failing. They mean you're trying something new. And that's exactly what growth looks like. It's crucial to understand that discomfort is a signal, not a setback. It's telling you that you're stretching yourself, that you're stepping into uncharted territory. Many people see discomfort as something to avoid at all costs. They retreat when they feel that tension, thinking it's a sign they should quit or go back to what they know. But in reality, that discomfort is your friend. It's your reminder that you're evolving. The more you push past those uncomfortable moments, the stronger and more capable you become. Each time you take on something that scares you, whether it's a big challenge or a small step outside your norm, you build resilience, confidence, and skill. It's a cycle. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you grow. And the more you grow, the more capable you become of handling even greater challenges. Now, let's talk about the impact discomfort has on your mindset. When you're constantly facing challenges, you'll start to build a mindset that welcomes change and uncertainty. You'll stop seeing discomfort as a roadblock and start seeing it as an opportunity. It's like developing a muscle. The first time you try to lift something heavy, it's going to feel tough. Your body might even hurt the next day. But as you continue to lift weights, your body gets stronger, and what once seemed difficult becomes easier. The same principle applies to mental and emotional discomfort. As you face more challenges, you'll develop a mental toughness that allows you to push through fear, doubt, and uncertainty. You'll start to see discomfort as a natural part of the growth process, rather than something to fear or avoid. And here's the thing, discomfort isn't always going to feel like a big dramatic challenge. Sometimes growth can be subtle. Maybe you're learning something new that requires you to think in a completely different way. Maybe you're having a difficult conversation with someone that feels awkward, but is necessary for your relationship to move forward. These small moments of discomfort matter just as much as the big challenges. In fact, it's the accumulation of these small, uncomfortable steps that leads to the greatest growth. You'll look back months or years down the road and realize that all those little moments of discomfort added up to a massive transformation. It's also important to note that discomfort doesn't have to be a constant state. There will be times when you feel at ease, when you've mastered a new skill or gotten used to a challenging situation. But in order to continue growing, you have to seek out new discomforts. Growth isn't linear. It's cyclical. Once you've stepped out of one comfort zone, there's always another challenge waiting for you. If you want to keep growing, you'll need to continue seeking out opportunities that push you further than you thought you could go. The cycle of discomfort and growth never ends, and that's what makes it so powerful. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, don't see it as a sign that something is wrong. It's actually a sign that you're doing something right. You're facing the challenges that will ultimately shape you into the person you're becoming. Don't shy away from discomfort. Embrace it. Step into it, because the more uncomfortable you feel, the faster you're growing. And growth, my friend, is what will take you to places you never thought possible. You're growing faster than you think. One of the most noticeable signs is that you start taking bigger risks. And when I say risks, I'm not just talking about a casual gamble. I'm talking about the kind of risks that make you feel uncertain, the ones that push you outside your comfort zone and test your limits. It's a sign that you're not just sitting back and letting life pass by. You're actively making decisions that could lead you to something greater. And let me tell you, growth doesn't happen without risk. If you're playing it safe all the time, chances are you're not growing as fast as you could be. Now, let's break this down a little. Risk comes in many different forms. For some people, taking a big risk might mean making a career change. For others, it might mean having a tough conversation they've been avoiding or making a major financial investment. Maybe it's deciding to start a business or moving to a new city. These risks might seem daunting, and in many cases, they may feel like you're stepping into the unknown. But that's the beauty of it. When you take risks, you're opening yourself up to new possibilities. Even if those possibilities are uncertain, the very act of stepping into the unknown is what drives growth. It's where change happens. You can't grow if you're not willing to take a chance. The thing is, most people avoid risk because it makes them feel uncomfortable or vulnerable. They worry about failure, about making the wrong choice. And that fear is understandable. But here's the truth. Avoiding risk is the surest way to stay stuck in the same place. You can't grow if you're constantly playing it safe. Growth requires you to be bold, to take actions that challenge the way you've been living, to put yourself out there even when you don't know exactly how things will turn out. And here's a secret. Nobody knows how things will turn out. Even the most successful people in the world take risks every day. They just do it in a way that makes them better, stronger, and more capable of handling whatever comes their way. But let's be clear, taking bigger risks doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean making decisions without thinking, without considering the potential consequences. It means weighing the pros and cons, making informed choices, and then moving forward with confidence, even if there's uncertainty involved. Taking bigger risks means trusting yourself. It means having the courage to act even when you're unsure of the outcome. And often those risks lead to the greatest rewards. Because growth isn't just about doing the easy things. It's about doing the hard things that take you to new heights. As you start taking bigger risks, you'll notice a shift in your mindset. You'll stop seeing risks as obstacles or threats, and you'll start to see them as opportunities for growth. You'll begin to embrace the unknown because you'll understand that's where the magic happens. And the more risks you take, the more comfortable you'll become with uncertainty. In fact, you'll start to thrive in uncertainty because you'll know that every risk, no matter how it turns out, teaches you something valuable. It builds your resilience, your adaptability, and your problem-solving skills. Each risk you take will strengthen you, prepare you for the next one, and ultimately shape you into the person you're meant to become. The beauty of taking bigger risks is that they give you the chance to break through barriers that you might have thought were insurmountable. For example, if you've always played it safe in your career, taking a risk could mean applying for a job that feels like a stretch, or even starting your own business. Sure, there's the potential for failure, but there's also the potential for massive success. And sometimes taking that first step is the hardest part. Once you do it, once you put yourself out there, you realize that you are capable of so much more than you thought. The risk is not just about the outcome, it's about the process, the growth that happens along the way. In relationships, taking bigger risks could mean being more vulnerable, having honest conversations that you've been avoiding. It could mean asking for help when you need it, or setting boundaries that allow you to protect your own well-being. These risks are often the hardest because they involve exposing your true self, but they are also the most rewarding. They lead to deeper, more meaningful connections with others and help you grow as a person. The more you take risks in relationships, the more you learn about yourself and the people around you, and the stronger your connections become. Another way to think about risk is that it's a measure of your faith in yourself. The bigger the risk, the more faith you're placing in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. It's easy to stay in a place of safety where everything is predictable and secure, but growth doesn't happen there. Growth happens when you trust yourself enough to take that first step into the unknown, knowing that no matter what happens, you'll figure it out. You'll adapt, you'll learn, and most importantly, you'll be stronger on the other side. In the end, taking bigger risks is not about being fearless. It's about being courageous. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. When you start taking risks, you start to develop a new kind of strength. You start to realize that the fear you once had was just a feeling and that it doesn't have to control your actions. With each risk, you learn to take the fear and turn it into fuel for growth. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating your own moments of transformation. And with every risk, you're moving closer to the life you've always dreamed of.